What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadden, and in today's video, I want to talk about the 99 cent per month lease deal at Gresham Dodge on a 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S. So I did a Instagram reel and a TikTok video on it yesterday, and it got a lot of traction. I think it's got, multiple thousands of likes, but a lot of people had a lot of questions about this lease deal. So I kind of want to examine this lease deal in detail. So what we'll do in the first part of this video is we'll head over to the Gresham Dodge website and we'll look at this lease deal. We'll see how many miles are allowed. We'll talk about the due at signing amount. We'll talk about how taxes work. We'll talk about all that nitty gritty stuff. And then what we'll do in the second part of this video is we'll run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Jeep Wagoneer S. And then in the third part of this video, what we'll do is we'll compare the monthly lease payments to the monthly finance payments. And we'll also talk about how much your monthly lease payment increases, since the advertised lease only allows for 5,000 miles a year. We'll talk about how much the lease payment goes up if you go for 7,500 miles versus 10,000 miles versus 12, 15,000 miles, etc. And for those of you that don't know what my 1.25% rule of leasing is, it's just a value metric that I use to determine whether a lease is a good deal or not in terms of value. And as you guessed it, this is an extremely good deal in terms of value. So if you haven't already, please be sure to like this video and please be sure to follow on whichever platform you are watching this video on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on the Gresham Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram website, CDJR. It's in Gresham, Oregon, and this is the main event. And just to let you guys know, this video is not sponsored. I don't even know anybody that works at this dealership, but this is the main event when you go to their website. You can lease this 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S Limited for just 99 cents per month. I know I was kind of mind blown when I first saw this. There is $3,999 due at signing. It's a 24-month lease. And this lease allows for 5,000 miles a year. Now, a lot of you are going to see that 5,000 miles a year, and you'll see that you think that maybe that's the catch, but you can get 7,500 miles a year, 10,000 miles a year, 12,000, 15,000 miles a year. And I'll show you how much that increases the price later in this video using the DriveMatch calculator. And you can see it says here, this is not a mistake, but let's go ahead and click on view disclaimer so we can read some of the fine print here. Let me see if I can actually make this bigger. So let me zoom in. You'll see that this is limited to this particular stock number. The stock number is listed here. And I think, if I were shopping for this car, I'd ask the dealer, obviously, if they could replicate this deal on a different stock number. And if you don't live in Oregon and you don't want to pay maybe the shipping costs, I don't even know if this dealer ships, but you can use this as reference. And that's what, you want to do with good lease deals like this, is use them as a reference point, and maybe you can get another dealer to replicate it. But hell, if you can't get a dealer to replicate it, maybe you can come close, because this is a fantastic lease deal. Now, you're also going to see that this $3,999 that's down does not include taxes and fees. So depending on where you live, you're going to be between, I would say, $5,000 to $6,000. Here in Seattle, where I live, probably closer to $6,000, maybe even a bit more. You're also going to see that this lease allows for 5,000 miles per year, and there's a 30-cent per mile charge at lease end for any mileage over 30 cents per mile. So if you drive more than 5,000 miles a year, it probably makes more sense to just get 10,000 miles a year up front, and it won't increase the monthly payment that much. I'll show you later in this video. The MSRP is $67,590. And then you'll see that this lease deal, as it's written, includes all rebates and discounts. I'm curious to see which rebates and discounts are included, and we'll use a DriveMatch calculator to see which rebates and discounts are included in this lease deal. And it says that the offer expires on July 31st, 2025. Okay, so now in this part of the video, I've got my handy dandy calculator pulled out, and I want to run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this 2025 Jeep Wagoneer. So I'm going to run my 1.25% rule of leasing, and anytime you get a number over 1.5%, that typically is a vehicle that you should finance, or I recommend you finance instead of lease in most cases. Under 1.5% is what I say is a good lease deal. Under 1.25% is what I consider a great lease deal, and under 1% is rare and what I consider an amazing lease deal. Now, to run my 1.25% rule of leasing, all you're going to do is take the due at signing amount, in this case, which is $3,999. And then we're going to add any taxes and fees. So in Seattle, I'm just going to add $2,000 to account for things like registration fees, taxes on the rebates. You got acquisition fee. Actually, acquisition fee is included here, but maybe some dealer fees, etc. Let's do it $2,000. Okay, that brings us up to $6,000. And then we'll divide this by 24 months, since it's a 24-month lease, and that takes that due at signing amount and breaks it into 24 equal parts. That gives us $250. And then let's go ahead and add $1 to account for the monthly payment, which is 99 cents, which sounds surreal even saying that. You get $250, and then you multiply this by your sales tax rate. So here where I live in Seattle, I'm at about 10% sales tax rate, which I'd have to pay on this monthly payment every single month. So I'll multiply this by 1.1 to account for a 10% sales tax rate. If you're at 8% or 7% where you live, just multiply by 1.8 or 1.07 instead of 1.1. And that gives me an effective zero down monthly payment of $276 a month. So if I took this $276, multiplied it by 24, that would be the total cost of this lease over 24 months. Now what I'm going to do is divide this by this vehicle's MSRP, which is, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's $67,590. So I'll divide this by $67,590. And I'll multiply this to make by 100 to make it a percentage. And that gives me 0.4%. So ladies and gentlemen, anytime you're under 1%, that's a extremely rare lease deal in terms of value. And this is way under 1%. It's under 0.5%. It's at just 0.4%, which, so this is, maybe I need to create a new category for this, because under 1% is amazing. Maybe under 0.5 is ridiculous. I don't know. But anyways, in terms of value, this is an incredibly amazing lease deal in terms of value. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this part of the video, what I want to do is compare the monthly lease payments to the monthly finance payments. And I want to show you guys how much the monthly payment increases when you go with 7,500 miles a year or 10,000 miles a year. So what I did is I plugged this car into the DriveMatch calculator. I have the vehicle selected here, 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S Limited. I got the MSRP loaded up, $67,590. I have my zip code loaded up, and then I selected the Stellantis Financial Services incentivized lease rates. And as you can see here at 24 months, you're looking at 0.00017, which is equivalent to a 0.41% APR. And then I've got my incentivized residuals selected. And if you want to see the residuals, you can see them here. Feel free to pause the video. And then a 24-month lease at 5,000 miles a year. And it automatically pulls in the residual value of 64%. And then we have the money factor, which automatically loads up as well. And then in terms of incentives, there's a lot of incentives on this car. And as you can see, all these TDMs are direct mailers. So these are kind of like mail rebates. I didn't select any of them because I'm just going to assume that I'm shopping. I don't qualify for any of these rebates here, but I do qualify for the electric federal tax credit, which is $7,500, as you can see here. And I also qualify for the SFS lease bonus cash of $2,000. I didn't add any taxes. I added an acquisition fee of $650. I think that's what it is on Stellantis products, but I might be wrong. But this is going to get you really, really close. I didn't add taxes here, so I left it at 0%. And then I assumed a due at signing amount of $3,999, and this includes your acquisition fee. So then what I did is I went ahead and I kind of played around with the discount, and I kind of reverse engineered my way into this deal. So when I did a 17.49% discount, as you can see here, my monthly payment is $1. So I'm assuming that this dealer, if they haven't selected any of the rebates, is giving you a discount of 17.49%, which is really, really aggressive, but not unheard of on this car. And now what I want to show you guys is how much the monthly payment increases when you do 7,500 miles a year. So if I went to 7,500 miles a year, the payment goes to $30. 10,000 miles a year, the payment goes to $59, so about $58 more. And then when I do 12,000 miles a year, the payment goes to $88. Still outstanding values in terms of the value that you're getting. And even if you want to do 15,000 miles a year, your payment jumps up to $118. So we'll leave this at 5,000 miles. Actually, let's go ahead and just leave it at 12,000 miles. And now what we'll do is we'll compare it to financing. So with the DriveMatch calculator, you can do this for any car, by the way. I did the same thing, entered my zip code. I did a 72-month term. Right now, Stellantis is offering 1.9%. I went ahead and selected the rebates that I assume I qualify for, which is this national minimum employee pricing discount of $5,821 and consumer cash of $4,500. I didn't add any dealer fees, no registration. I didn't add any taxes, and I assumed the same $3,999 down. And your monthly payment with that $3,999 down, if you finance this car, would be $610 a month versus $88 a month if you did 12,000 miles a year. And if you wanted to do 5,000 miles a year, your payment would be $1. So I hope you guys got a lot of value from this video. So regardless of where you live, I think I gave you guys kind of the blueprint of how you can kind of reverse engineer into this deal. And that's the power of the DriveMatch calculator, right? So anytime that you're leasing or financing a car, I recommend you use the DriveMatch calculator. It's going to give you the money factor. If you're leasing, it's going to give you the APRs if you're financing, and that alone can save you thousands of dollars over the course of your lease or over the course of your finance term. And it's $20 a month, and it really pays for itself. You get unlimited pulls. So anytime you're shopping for a car, you could run the DriveMatch calculator on 50 different cars and compare lease versus finance and get all of that really good information like residual values, APRs, and money factors, etc. But if you guys have any questions about this lease deal, let me know in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to call it a video. Thank you all for watching. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.